and run and never stop, and they shall not die. Continue reading. At the end it shall speak, it shall not lie, though it tarry, so even if we have people dying now, that is the tarrying of the vision. But at the end it shall speak. So even if we have generals of God dying and men of faith dying, it is tarrying, but there is a time when the vision shall speak. So wait for it, which means work towards it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. If you wait for it, anxiously waiting for it and working towards it and making studies and looking into this vision, if you do that, it will not tarry. But if you don't wait, if you don't work towards it, it will tarry. Look at it, it will tarry, but it will not tarry. It will tarry, but it will not tarry. So if you work towards it, it will not tarry, but if you don't work towards it, it will tarry. Now, go further, look at the vision now, in verse number 4. Read it together, you will see the vision there. Okay. But the just shall live. There is life there. The just shall live by faith. The just shall have their life from faith. Look at this. The just shall live. He's talking about immediately after he's talking about life. The just shall live by faith. So you have some two reasons that can suggest the kind of vision that Habakkuk was instructed by God to write about. You go back to chapter 1 verse number 12, you see the vision again. Look at that. He's talking about eternity, how God lives forever. Look at this. Art thou not from everlasting, God? Are you not from everlasting? Oh Lord my God, mine Holy One, we shall not die. Don't just look at chapter 2. It's a continuation. There were no demarcations there. It's a continuation. So chapter 1 verse 12 is talking about life, and chapter 2 verse number 4 is talking about life through faith. The just shall live by faith. That is the vision. Saka kubva pachitsauko chekutanga ari kutaura nauye upenyu, chitsauko chepiri ari kutaura nauye upenyu kuburikidza nekutenda. Ndo chiono chacho ichocho cheupenyu. My God. The problem is that when you talk about this, even Paul himself, he once spoke about this. He said, we that are still living will not die. Okay? He spoke about it. Yes. When he was talking about the capturing of the saints or the rapture and so on, he said, we shall not go ahead of those that have already died before us. But in the twinkling of an eye, we shall be changed. So he was speaking as if Jesus was going to come during his time. Though he eventually died, that is the vision tarrying. Jesus didn't want his people to die. Church, follow me on this one. We have shortchanged ourselves. That question was supposed to have been answered by now. Do you believe that if you believe in me, you shall not die? It was avoided up to now. Preachers, they avoid answering that question. There was another attempt again. Jesus once tried to push this doctrine into them, but it was rejected again. Even up to now, it faces a lot of rejection. Chapter 16 of the book of Matthew.
Jesu wakatomboedza zvakare kuunza dzidziso iyi kusvika pari zvino haisati yanyatsogamuchirwa.
Verse number 28. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Church, look at this. This is Jesus. And people are sitting like you're sitting now. And he's delivering one of the strongest sermons ever. He's saying there are some of you standing, not spiritual, it's not a spiritual thing. Some of you standing here. He's talking about personalities and he's talking about this particular place. He's saying there are some, not all of you of course, there are some of you standing here. And then he said, those ones, they shall not taste of death or they shall not die until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. So what he's saying there is not saying they shall not die, but they will die when they see. No, he's saying, because when he comes, there's no death. Okay? But so all he's saying is that there are some of you standing here who shall not die forever. There are those that shall not taste of death. And theologians, when they saw that, go into theology now. They will tell you, because after that chapter, the next chapter, chapter 17, that's when Jesus took James, Peter, and John, and he took them to the mount that was now called the Mount of Transfiguration. And he was transfigured before them. And theologians are now saying, when Jesus said, some of you that are standing here, you shall not die until you see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom, he was talking about the next chapter, the Transfiguration. Liar. You are lying. Let me repeat it. This is the last verse. Almost. The last verse, Jesus is talking about some of those people standing there who are not going to die until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. And 6 days later, that's why we have chapter 17, Jesus took some of his disciples to the Mount of Transfiguration and he was transfigured. That is not the coming of the Son of Man in his kingdom. No, transfiguration is transfiguration. There is no coming there. Why are you avoiding to answer the question of life? Martha, do you believe? Look at how professors, how people with doctorates in theology are trying to run away from the question. Do you believe that if a person believes in me, he shall not die?
tariraoneka nzvengero kwari kuita mubvunzo uyu nanamuzvinafundo vebhaibheri. Munotenda here kuti anotenda kwandiri haangatofi?
Why? Because after saying that they believe, they will still die, so they try to manipulate the scriptures. Look at this. Look at this. If it was 6 days later, I personally would want to believe that all the disciples were still present. And I would want also to believe that every person that was there was still alive. Because chapter 16, last verse, if he's talking about transfiguration, which is coming in the next 6 days, and he's saying, some of you here shall not taste of death. Who then tasted death within those 6 days? He's not talking about transfiguration. He's talking about the second coming. That there could be people, I don't know whether we still have those people there. We're not talking about just Peter, we're not talking about just Andrew, but there could have been some people present during that day. That we still have now. I know that will spark a lot of controversy. Because the Son of Man has not yet appeared. Then if I'm to ask you a question which is very controversial, can you imagine now living during our time and we have people that once saw Jesus physically? Yes. Yes. Sit down. Let me close this. Let me close this. If no. Look. Can you imagine if there were people present during that time and Jesus is saying, some of you here will not die until you see me coming, the second coming. Which means those people, if they had believed, they are supposed to be present somewhere, secretly. We could be having such people. Because when they speak like they've seen Jesus. There are people like that. It cannot be the same Jesus that we read in the Bible. Some of us, we seem to have spent time with him. There are revelations of Jesus that you can't find in the Bible. They only come through encounter and personal experiences.